Are you working? What kind of work do you do?
Welcome to the Philly EDC Holster Clinic, where Kydex craftsmen from across America and beyond are sending in their holsters for us to give them our honest feedback about what could be better, what could be improved, and what they're doing right. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of Holster Clinic. First I want to say thank you so much for the fantastic support and encouragement you guys have been showing to us for putting these videos out, and I'm glad to see that we're getting positive feedback, and I'm also really happy to see that you guys are encouraging and supportive of the people who are submitting stuff. Today's going to be a 2-for-1 episode because we've got a couple holsters here today that are similar, and they're both so good I don't really have a whole lot to talk about in terms of them. First things first though, we're going to be using the Glock 19 Blue Gun for today because I just sent my slide out to ATEI to get an RMR put on it, so I won't see that bad boy for a very long time. Hopefully it'll be a little bit quicker, but these things come and go. Anyway, today, first up we have Joe Schilz, who made this very, very tidy little single loop fold over IWB. There is so much good things to say about this. The retention was perfect. It has a nice pop and it's not too difficult to draw. The fit and finish on this is immaculate. I can't give him any suggestions about that at all. The edges are perfect and considered, and there's not a single error or area on this that looks overlooked. The definition's really good. The ejection port is properly relieved. He's using a pull the dot loop, which came to us out of the box, not too stubborn or difficult to operate. I really only have 2 suggestions for this holster. First of all, I'd radius that just a little bit, bring that, whenever we're making something, we're very mindful that this doesn't have too significant of a point, because if you're carrying appendix, this is where it's going to stick you in the thigh the most. So, just be a little more mindful of that. That's not a big deal. And second of all, just a little idea suggestion or improvement. If you take this block and extend it up higher, such that it comes past the area that you're going to use for the holster, you can make a provision for a second mounting hole, ditch the thick loops, and give your customers the option of having a single loop or a double loop attachment for behind the hip for extra stability. That's it. This thing was an A. I think just 2 tiny little changes will make this thing an A+, and you can keep knocking these out, man. I wouldn't change anything about the way you're doing stuff. This is just, I could tell you really cared about this. If you walked into our shop with this and said, hey, I've been making holsters, can I have a job? I would say yes. And that would be the end of that conversation. So keep it up, Joe. This is really good, and just with those 2 little changes, you'll have an absolute, complete 100% knockout holster, and you can take them to gun shows and be confident that you're selling something good. That's it for that. I like these. That makes me really happy. The second one today is from Alameda Holsters, a father and son team of Joe and Anthony Martinez down in Hewitt, Texas, and they made this lovely little unit. The carbon fiber, I think, is a pretty slick look. We don't really get into it, and we try to keep things as simple as possible, but the definition on it is really good. I like that you've okay, so we made a lot of talk about clips and whatnot. Now, what makes these clips work as opposed to other folded Kydex clips is that all the stress gets transferred to the rubber grommets right here, so that the clip doesn't have to bend, the rubber bends. So you're not running into a situation where you're overloading the capabilities of the clip. So good idea. I've seen our friends Tony over at Multi Holsters doing this, and he put out a nice little video about how to make these clips, and I think it's wise to listen to him, which you have done. I also like that you've radiused this edge here. The edge fit and finish is very nice. There are a couple little spots where, I know this is insane, but it's something that we check for. When you feel the inside edge, if it's sharp, we just give it another hit with the sandpaper so we don't get like a a sharp inside edge. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like it rubs on your gun or, you know, creates a problem. It's just a fanatical craftsmanship kind of attention to detail. So, you know, the outside edges are nice and smooth, but if you know how like you check a knife blade for sharpness, you know, you sort of drag your finger kind of across the blade or whatever, so you can, you know, feel if it catches or whatever. But, you know, I always check our edges like that, and I feel like just a little high spot in here. You know, it's nothing like really serious, and it's nothing that you know, it's not a reason that I wouldn't buy a holster, but it's just like just fanatical attention to detail kind of craftsmanship stuff that it just doesn't take that much more time to do, and it makes it a whole lot nicer. One thing I did notice when I was wearing this holster, the retention was a hair too tight. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being completely locked up and 1 being a wet sock, I'd say this was probably about an 8.5 or a 9. And we try to dial ours in at about a 7. So this did take a little bit of effort. Now, in relation to that, I see that you've used these screws here to secure the 2 halves of this wrap over. Now, if you're going to go ahead and use screws here, screws are going to cost you more than eyelets, especially since you're using these lovely little finishing washers here on them. If you're going to go ahead and use screws, you're kind of missing an opportunity to develop adjustable retention into here. So if you make a little spacer that fits into this part of the mold, and you've committed to using screws, and I imagine you have a pile of them in stock, or, you know, at least enough that you'd like to use them before you ditch them in favor of eyelets, yeah, I would consider starting to prototype some molds that have a little spacer in here, such that when you install the screws, you put a little rubber grommet, which you're already familiar with, in here, and now you've got a holster which has adjustable retention. And I think that'll be a home run. This came in, I'd say this was an A-, and if you just do those small little changes, you're going to have a totally A+ kind of unit. So guys, thanks for sending in stuff that makes me smile when I take it out of the box and impresses the shit out of me. So keep it up, and thanks for watching.